The volume is going to be for 14 chapters. The volume is going to end the day before Valentine's Day on Saturday, February 13th, 2020. And for those of you who don't know, that is the same date that Pyrrhonikos died in volume 3, February 13th, 2016. So I don't know what the fuck Rooster Teeth is doing. I don't know if they're setting up for some like crazy, like, hey, remember volume 3? Well, we're gonna remind you. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Do you think anyone will mentally break this volume? Probably, I don't know, maybe by the end of it. I'm assuming, I feel like they're just setting up for Ruby to just have like a mental meltdown by the end of the volume, depending on like who gets hurt this volume, who dies by the end of it. I'm very much in like the RWBY camp of that right now. Is Rooster Teeth doing this? Are they actually doing this? 7 volumes in the making, ladies and gentlemen. Holy shit. We're actually getting the backstory of Cinder Fall. For those of you who don't know, I've really not enjoyed Cinder's character. Not because I think she's like annoying or anything like that, but because it's just like, I don't know who you are. Like, it's 7 years. Going on 8 years, I literally don't know who you are other than you want power, and that's kind of it. This is without a doubt Cinder Fall, Cinderella inspiration. I've always felt like Salem was Cinder's fairy godmother reference. I always said to myself, I'm like, if Cinder is a reference to Cinderella, then Salem must be her fairy godmother, or if you want to go that far, the evil stepmom. if we actually get the backstory of Cinder's family and, you know, where she comes from and stuff like that. Another thing too is when I went back to do the edit for the reaction, this was the transition. Like, you hear the scratch, like the brushing of the floor, and then it transitions to the scratching of the chair. So I was like, oh, that's what they were going for. I'm just glad that we're getting little breadcrumbs of it. I'm just wondering when it's gonna be a full backstory. I wonder if they're actually gonna give us like an episode backstory, like a Kuroyuri Ren backstory, because I feel like it's really important, just because like that's Salem's biggest like bargaining chip is Cinder. Like, she's putting all of her faith in Cinder being the vessel for the maidens. So just looking at her attire, so she's wearing like an apron of sorts. She kind of looks like a low class like barista almost. She looks like she's like a servant of some sort. On her hands and knees, scrubbing the floor. She's got some bandages on her hand. Like, she's got a bandage on one finger. She's got like bandages wrapped around her other arm. I don't know why, but the way that she's dressed and the fact that that's like a wooden floor makes me feel like this is Mistral. When she said in volume 3, right? Like, remember when she was on like the intercoms and she was talking about, like, she said, as someone who hails from Mistral, I can assure you that that place is equally undesirable. Obviously, they forged their information that they were students from Haven to participate in the tournament, but low-key, that actually might have been the case. She might actually be from Mistral, which is interesting too, because like we weren't in Mistral all that long, and I feel like being in that setting could have definitely opened the doors for her backstory there, and maybe that was their idea. But Miles did mention something like they wanted to do this backstory for a while, but they just never had the right, like, they just could never find the right point that it would make sense to do it. So maybe now that she's back with Salem, maybe she'll start like remembering the origins of why she's in this in the first place and where this hunger for power comes from. Another thing too that I'll just say regarding this current Cinder, clearly a very different iteration of the Cinder that we meet in volume 1, and definitely a completely transformed character by the time we see her now, right? Like Fall Maiden, Grim Infused, all that shit. I guess there's some like heavy implications that Cinder self-harms, because that one wrist of hers that's covered in bandages is always covered. Like, we've never seen that side of her arm before. I don't know if that's an injury. I don't know if that's something more, you know, more painful to like just how she feels about herself and her life and everything like that. Her fingers are also bandaged, so maybe she's just like a hard worker and like hurts herself and gets the job done at the cost of her own health. Or it could be something more psychological and more troubling, like internally with her. I like the transition. Like I said, very, very excited that we're getting a Cinder backstory, or at least the breadcrumbs of it right now. I don't want to say it's going to be worth it. I don't think anything is worth waiting 7 years for. right? And obviously they weren't going to give us Cinder's backstory at all during the Beacon arc. It's fucking weird. We're out of school. But hopefully this can at least satisfy the Cinder fans out there who've been looking forward to this. Hopefully it can quell the people that have just said that like Cinder is like awful and she's like one-dimensional and she only cares about power. We don't know anything about her. And hopefully it can satisfy people like me who have had that issue of like, I just can't attach myself to Cinder because I don't know anything about her. I don't know if you guys can see this, but if you look on the top left and the top right, either those are giant seer grim or we have some giant jellyfish along with this giant whale. Like this is Salem's like dark ocean abyss right now. She's got 5G network now. Like before the seer grim were literally like Wi-Fi hotspots, but now she's like upgraded. She's like, yo, that 5G network, I'm all about it. I have 2 giant like 5G towers chilling around me and I can communicate with my Grim anywhere in this kingdom. Neo, back to piloting, a volume 3 reference right there. I find it very odd that this whale fortress of sorts is custom tailor-made for airdrop. Just has a landing dock, 5 landing docks, mind you. Like who the hell is gonna have 5 different airships? That would be like Cinder, Watts, Tyrion, Hazel, and then Emerald Mercury all get in their own airships and come back here. Clearly a lot of effort went into making this thing, and it's decked out. It's got like hallways, it's got a really cool interior, it's got landing pads. Like she was super considerate to the people she was sending out. Wouldn't be surprised if everyone has their own little, you know, their own little bedroom in this place too. So I tried to clip both of the Salem shots so they were one on top of the other. I thought it was gonna connect. It clearly didn't, and now if I have to look at it, y'all have to look at it. Another thing too is that this is Neo's first time being exposed to some shit like this. I'm pretty sure Cinder informed her of like what kind of person Salem was and stuff like that, but seeing is believing, of course. There's always been like this discussion, like at least really early on, I think around volume 4, where people thought that Salem also knew about Neo and Torchwick, that they weren't just simple lackeys for Cinder, but also like Salem's cohorts along with Emerald and Murky. But like, no, at the end of the day, we realized Cinder, very much like Salem, is trying to emulate. She wants to have her own posse. She wants to have her own army, right? Just like Salem has Tyrion, Watts, Hazel, Cinder wants her own Emerald, Mercury, Torchwick, Neo if she can. I mean, that's kind of what Torchwick even said. You know, Torchwick was like, I don't know who the hell hired me. The people that hired me are gonna change the world. She's seeing it for herself, and maybe this will give her a bit more perspective to understand like, wow, so really, it really is Cinder's fault, because it wasn't even this Grim Queen that wanted us. Cinder wanted us, and Torchwick's dead now because of Cinder's direct involvement in wanting to recruit him. Not gonna lie, I was very surprised to see Salem's reaction there, because that was more of like a reaction to like, holy shit, you actually did something. Like, sent you to get the Fall Maiden power, you got it, but you got wrecked by the Silver-Eyed Girl. I sent you to go get the Spring Maiden's power, you got bodied by her. Neo's not very happy with not getting credit for the work that she's done. Now she's being seen more as an asset than a partner. Cinder's trying to spin this to where she can have her cake and eat it too. Tell Neo what she wants to hear to get her on your side, but in the presence of Salem, your boss, you make it seem like, yeah, this is just my lackey. On the flip side, Neo, me and you are actually like dynamic duo partners, besties to the end of time. That's like a classic, like Clementine will remember that moment. I'm really surprised that throughout this whole conversation, nobody questioned why Neo wasn't talking. I mean, Salem gets respect through fear anyway, so maybe she just thought to herself, this girl is so petrified with fear, she's not even speaking. She's letting Cinder do all the talking, and I respect that. Another lackey, another pawn, another person to just shut up and listen and just go do stuff and don't talk back. And then on top of that, she's being lied to by Cinder, and she can't defend herself. That's the thing. The thing is, I feel like if Neo could talk, she would have been like, yo, what are you talking about? I got you the relic and you're not giving me credit. So it kind of worked in Cinder's favor that Neo couldn't talk in this moment, because like chat mentioned, like Neo will remember that. By the way, Tyrion's back. Don't know how he got here. Either he hijacked an airship himself, you know, he loves crashing them, so I wouldn't be surprised if he actually knows how to fly one. I love the exchange that they had too, like Cinder and Tyrion, water and oil. I lost my God. Yo, when you get to this part of the reaction, lower your fucking mics. I swear to God, I think I actually said it in the live stream discussion that we did, the RWBY Tubers discussion that we did like a month or so ago. I said, I was like, they're not going to be in this volume. Why would they? How would they? Like, what's the point of having them here? They're probably going to go to Vacuo. Did not fucking this was like one of the highlights of the episode for me. Not only seeing them, but seeing them dripped out, new threads, like new outfits. So freaking cool. I like Mercury's outfit, I really do, but it seems like he just has like a jacket on top of his old jacket. Don't get me wrong, like I like the orange outlines, I like the zippers, like his outfit's just very simple and it just looks neat. Hazel is definitely the most improved of the three of them. Like, do you see like his side? You see how like ripped this man is? Slick back hair. I don't know why these people are all just like dressed to the nines. It's like, yo, end of the world, we gotta dress to kill and we gotta dress to impress. Those scars, like, it's just like a different side of Hazel. It's kind of crazy. He's got belts on belt on belt on belts. I'm so surprised that they're here. Nothing indicated or told me that they would be here. Nothing told me that they were even needed, right? You got Watts and Tyrion, who were like the stars of Volume 7 in terms of like the villains putting in work. You got Neo and the Fall Maiden that are there too. Salem is here with all of her Grim and her Whale. In my eyes, I was like, okay, Hazel is back at home with the kids. They're eating pizza, watching that new Bruce Willis movie or something. Like, I literally just thought Hazel was back home with the kids. I did not think that they were all out to play. This is definitely a continuation for a lot of things to come. Emerald maybe seeing firsthand how much Cinder doesn't care about her. Mercury relishing in the fact that, you know, he's like, yo, I love this shit. This is what I live for. I was born to kill people. Maybe Hazel's gonna keep an eye on these two, you know? He was willing to take the fall for everybody when it was really Cinder's fault that their plan, blew up in their face. So I respect Hazel. You know what I mean? He might be on the bad people's side. I still feel like there's still a bit more of his backstory that we can get, you know, with his sister, with the fact of like, if she died on a training mission and if she died from the Grim, low-key, kind of Salem's fault. The person you're working for commands the Grim that probably killed your sister. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a setup to get you on Salem's side to begin with. And now that Ozpin is back and that's the main person that Hazel has a gripe with, I feel like Hazel has some room to grow moving forward as well. This moment right here, this is probably one of my favorite lines by Tyrion. He's like, so devoted to someone so incompetent. It's so funny, dude. It's so savage. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like Tyrion just has a way with words. He's so eloquent in how he just wants to just shit talk people, especially someone like Cinder. He's talking to Emerald, but he's simultaneously dissing Cinder. And on top of that, prior to this moment, he was like, I think that speaks more to the general's lack of intellect than you actually being smart enough to outwit them. Like, I don't know, man. I fucking love Tyrion so much. Like, I like, no fighting from him yet, but he's already entertaining. Part of me feels like Salem is gonna be the one kill Cinder, because like Cinder is constant, like ever so, like she's constantly like doing her own thing, right? In the last volume, she told Neo, she was like, it's the only way that I mean, we can accomplish our goals. Even here, she's like, oh, once I get that power, it's my power. I'm gonna do it. She's like, Salem's like, hello, you realize I'm your boss. You realize you answer to me. Like, what do you want about doing your own thing? I really feel like Cinder herself feels like she is the Black Queen. You have someone like Tyrion who's like, the will of our goddess. Like, she breathes and he's just like, oh my God, I love you so much. I'll do anything for you. And everybody else seems to be very much in line. You give this girl power, she goes a little bit further out of line. And now she's like getting super like hungry. She's like, okay, now I know that Penny has it. If I go back, I'll get that power and then it'll be mine and I'll be even stronger. I feel like it could potentially go down that avenue where Cinder gets so big head. Because here's the thing. What do you think Cinder's gonna do once she gets all 4 maiden powers? Do you think someone this hungry, this power hungry is gonna be like, well, I got all these maiden powers, better listen to Salem for all time? I really think like the more power she gets, the more she's gonna start feeling like, actually, you know what? I kind of don't need this. I kind of don't need Salem anymore. I kind of got everything that I wanted. And now I'm feeling myself. I feel like I'm the Black Queen. I'm that Black Queen piece that I put on Ironwood's desk, not Salem. Just because you're more valuable than a pawn does not make you a player. Is Cinder now just gonna be like, okay, I'm more valuable than a pawn, but I'm not the Black Queen, so I guess I'm a bishop. So now, from now on, she's just gonna make bishops and put them in places so people know that that's her. I did like this view here where you can just see like a real, like that's just like a crisp view of Atlas, and you can see like the Grim, you can see the hard light shields. I feel like this whale can literally just like full Steamboat Willie, just like freaking barrel right through the kingdom and just blow right through that hard light shield. That Grim's got a lot of mass. Or even better, it can fly above Atlas and just stop flying and just fall on Atlas, you know? And then Atlas will fall on Mantle along with the whale. I just feel like there's so many other things that this whale could do than just sit here and wait. Yeah, the ultimate belly flop. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. This whale's fucking chunky, dude. I felt like this whale could just eat Atlas out of, like, just take a bite out of it. She's just like, I got what I want. Be gone, cretins. This opening scene was great, man. Just the villains in general. Getting this scene first and foremost, I think, was a good way of setting the tone of just knowing that the villains are planning something, and it's, you know, it'll probably happen within the next couple episodes. Hazel, Emerald, Mercury, Cinder, Neo, Salem, Tyrion. We got Watts, who's in prison. Chances are he's gonna bust out of prison because based on the intro, he's like hacking, and I guarantee you they didn't give him a computer in his jail cell. So like Watts is gonna be doing shit from afar. You got all of the Grim. You got that new Grim. You got flying Barangles. You got Manticores, Sentinels, the giant whale. Like, how are the villains losing? I almost want to be so bold as to say something, but I don't want to be held by my word in case I'm wrong. I was thinking, I was like, all right, guys, I'm feeling a little risky right now, okay? If the villains, this is what I was going to say. This is not official. I'm not making a declaration. I was gonna say, if the villains don't win this volume, I'm dropping the show. Cause it's like, clearly they're gonna win, right? So I don't have to worry about it. But there's that part of my, there's just that one little speck in the back of my head that's like, Arnold, imagine the villains lose. Again, just want to say that is not official. That is what I was going to say, that I decided not to say, but to just tell you guys what I was thinking so you guys can judge me for it in the comments. Meanwhile, in the slums, this is still the morning of, right? The reason I'm kind of suspicious of that is because in my mind, I'm like, holy fuck, Ironwood got his arm fixed and Winter like went through like surgery and got like that arm guard in like 2 hours. Also, this volume is taking place over 2 days. 14 chapters over 48 hours. So a lot of shit's gonna be happening in a very short amount of time. And that makes it even worse. Oh no. When's the last time they slept? Because that one throwaway line that Weiss was like, we're never gonna sleep again. I just know it. You're literally not sleeping for the next 2 days at least. On top of all the shit you just did, right? Because if you watched volume 7 into volume 8, let's see, it's cordially invited. So episodes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 was one night, is the same night. Like all that shit happened in one night, 6 episodes. That's fucking nuts, dude. Holy shit. Now that I think about that, oh wow. So they're gonna be up for 72 hours protecting Mantle / Atlas. That means Ironwood is gonna be awake for that. Like no way to relieve his stress, no way to take a breather. His semblance is just, he's just gonna get so fucking worse, dude. It's just gonna get worse. It's just gonna get worse, dude. It's just gonna get worse. Gather around the campfire, you little shits. I got a story to tell you. Okay, if there's something you need to know about me, all right? I'm a sucker for lighting, I'm a sucker for gravity dust, and I'm a sucker for fire animation, which I guess that kind of ties into lighting because it's literally a light source. I just liked this shot because of the fire. All right, leave me alone. I thought it looked nice. And also, like, I wonder if that fire is staring back at him right now. Just look at him, dude. What kind of faunus do you think this guy is? I'm leaning towards badger. I'm leaning towards a badger mole faunus of sorts. I thought they were called badger moles. Wait, no. They're called badger moles in Avatar. I'm an idiot. Oh my God. They're called badger moles because in Avatar, they combine two animals. Oh my, don't fucking mind me, dude. The original earthbenders, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, they're going down into the crater. That's a secret tunnel, dude. Probably either a badger or a mole, but not both. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. I wonder why. Oh yeah, that's right, that doesn't exist. Oscar and RWBY find each other somehow, most likely just off cam, like, hey, I'm down in the slums. Can you come pick me up? It's a long story. I'll explain it on the way. Imagine that, dude. Imagine being like one of the most important characters in all of the RWBY series, and you're just like, Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared. It just seems so odd that like Oscar has to wait to get picked up before they can advance the plot. I don't know what it is like with Ironwood Semblance. I kind of feel like Ironwood Semblance is like a trap. What I mean by that is like, I feel like Ironwood Semblance, like he might be unable to change his mind. For those who don't know, his semblance is called Mettle, M-E-T-T-L-E. And it's essentially tunnel vision, where it's like, if he says to himself, I'm gonna stop Salem no matter what, that means nothing is off limits. Everything he's doing is a justification if it means he can stop Salem. Shooting Oscar is a necessary sacrifice if it means Salem eventually goes down. Shooting Councilman Sleet, I just don't know how far that goes. They say it's like willpower. It's his ability to like push himself through anything. But I feel like in his current mindset, it could spiral and it could just manifest. You know, like how semblances evolve and all that. It's like, well, depending on his mental state and his paranoia and his fear, that could turn into, well, I'm like scared shitless, so I'm gonna do whatever I feel is necessary and not listen to anybody else around me. Is he able to change his mind, or does his semblance make him a slave to whatever it is he set his mind to? Because now it seems like he's not even like stopping to think about what he's doing. He's just doing it. He didn't even stop to be like, yo, I'll just knock out Councilman Slate. His instinct is like, whatever it takes. What's the quickest way to get rid of this person? Okay, shoot them. Boom. Also, by the way, there's 20 manticores in this shot, by the way. Motherfuckers are gonna be fighting Grimm for 2 days straight, my guy. Did I mention how much I like fire? I'm not like a pyromaniac or anything. I just really like fire animation. Yo, it's lit, fam. Like, I just really like the way it looks and the way it burns and the way it just destroys everything around it. You know what I mean? Really cool to see the Happy Huntress base, just to see them in general. Fingers crossed. Be so fucking cool if we get a May Marigold and Henry Marigold moment. Yeah, they're cousins, yeah. I just really hope we see that. Like, can't wait for all the discount Neptune comments if we see him again. We don't know Joanna's semblance, if she has one, that is. She's the only one that we didn't really get to, like, she wasn't really all that present last volume, other than like the one scene during the political rally. Really great to see them. I also like the scene of this bar. I liked the lighting. I think I said that in my reaction. I'm like, yo, I like the lighting of this place. It just looks really nice. Those are the only good things I have to say about this show. Nice lighting, nice fire animation, cool gravity dust. 10 out of 10, would watch again. I did like this scene right here because Oscar just had like internal trauma of all of the other times that Nora showered him with affection, to where he's like, no, Nora, please. It's been a long day. Cute boy Oz, yeah. I immediately thought, I was like, okay, I definitely have to go back to volume 6 and get that one clip to show this. I feel like she hugged him another time too. I just couldn't remember. I was doing these like on the fly, so I was like, if I can't find it, but I'm pretty sure there was another scene. I don't know if she hugged him. Oh, it was when he left to go get his outfit in volume, it was also in volume 6, when he left to go get his outfit and she came back. She was like the first person to jump and tackle him. Yeah, I remember. Yep, so it was also, yep, okay. I was like, I swear to God, she hugged him another time. I just don't remember. Another thing that I liked about this scene here, very subtle, nothing too crazy. I like that all their weapons are on the table. You see Gamble Shroud on the table. You see Jean's sword on the table. Stormflower, Magenhild. It's just like a very chill, cozy area. Okay, so really quick, I just wanted to put this in here because this is like a little bit of a Brothers Grimm fairy tale Easter egg. The Rumpelstiltskin Premium Atlesian whiskey poster in the background because they are in a bar. I wasn't gonna show the Six Swan one because that one was also the alcohol that Willow was drinking in volume Volume 7, who's drinking the Six Swan whiskey. This one is Rumpelstiltskin Premium Atlesian Whiskey, aged 20 years. So this is a 20-year-old whiskey that they sell. For those who don't know, Rumpelstiltskin is a story about a girl who gets like captured by like the king of a kingdom, and he like forces her to like make straw into gold because her father lied to him and was like, my daughter can turn straw into gold or whatever. And he's like, all right, well, your daughter needs to prove it. And so she comes across this magical imp, and he's like, hey, I'll turn that straw into gold for you, but you have to do something for me. And it's this constant bargaining back and forth. He makes her the gold out of stuff. She gives him her necklace, and then she gives him her ring, and then I think in one of the iterations she gives him like her firstborn child. I don't know the moral of the story really, but don't fucking gamble, don't bet, don't do shit like that, all right? So I wonder why Oscar is choosing to just not tell them that I'm laying it on a bit thick here, okay? Tell them that Oz is back. Oz will know what to do. Stop keeping secrets, please. How did you guys not realize that not telling the truth is what got y'all in this predicament in the first place? Because now, imagine if something happens down the road and Ozpin comes back and they were like, when did Oz come back? And he has to tell them, oh, Oz has been back since you guys brought me back to the base. I just didn't say anything until now. I don't know what scenario that would be in, but I really hope him not telling them that Oz is back right now doesn't backfire later. I know he's not lying here, but it's like, bro, that's fucking important. But he wants to, you know, he wants to talk to Oz first. So I feel like that's still valid. I don't know the significance of this image. They put it in the scene, and in a way, I feel like it's one of two things. This is either, hey, we're gonna put something super subtle in the background that we know people are gonna notice and speculate and question what it is, or because Rooster Teeth has also, you know, made it very apparent and clear too that there have been times where they put something in the show as just like, we just put it in the show. It's not important. It's nothing to overthink about, and the fandom latches onto it and just fucking runs with it, dude. And they're just like, this is important. It has to be. Why would Rooster Teeth put this in here if it wasn't important? So it could be it can be either or. This could be maybe like the founders of the Happy Huntresses. This could be the owners of this bar, who knows? It's like the Brunswick farm photo. Remember I saw that photo and I was like, oh my god, that's Neo and fucking Torchwick. Remember how right I was, guys? Remember the backstory that we got of Neo and Torchwick growing up at Brunswick Farms because of that one photo that everyone saw and speculated into the ground? 10 out of 10 backstories, by the way. So this time around, I'm not looking into it. I just think this is the picture of two people who probably own this bar. Yeah, so whoever owns this bar, it's probably just like a picture of them two outside of the bar taking a picture like, holy shit, we have our first bar, let's commemorate this with a photo. Hey guys, so I just wanted to put this quick insert here to let you guys know that the last point that I just mentioned on this photo being of the two owners of a bar and nothing more, that actually turned out to be true and confirmed by Eddie and Carrie on Friday, November 13th, the day after I did my live stream discussion. They went live for a RWBY Volume 8 Chapter 1 watch party on the Rooster Teeth website. It was a first member exclusive event, and it was there that they confirmed that there was no point in looking deeper into that photo than simply the two owners of the bar who took a commemorative photo, and now the bar is used as a hideout for the Happy Huntresses. So I just wanted to put that out there that we were actually confirmed. We actually got a theory right for Volume 8, which is really great. So yeah, just wanted to put that in here. Pepperidge Farm members? You mean Brunswick Farm members? Come on, guys. Oh, so remember how I was talking about like Maria, like how she's just chilling now? I don't know why, but I found this image. I just found this really funny. Like, everyone else is talking and Maria's like, what the fuck am I even doing here? Maria's like, I'm too old for this shit. I just brought all these kids back. I lost my eyes. I somehow shrunk 2-3 feet in the last like 40 years. My best years are behind me. I fly an airship that I don't even know how to fly. I lost my cashews. I don't know why. I just thought this was funny. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna say this real quick. Get it out of the way. I don't want y'all overreacting. I am not a simp. I don't know, but this episode's got me, I think I had a Blake awakening this episode. I was like, huh, I don't know what it was. I think it's the hair, honestly. Yes, Blue Rat, I had a Blakening. There you go. Anyways, I'm not a simp, moving on. Yeah, so they're not gonna sleep anymore. Mind you, they've already been going for the last 9 episodes now off of no sleep. Blake better get that catnap in, that's all I'm saying. You ever get so tired, Like, there's just sometimes I feel like being tired is the worst form of, I feel like being tired is worse than being hungry. I feel like being tired is worse than being thirsty. I honestly think it's the worst kind of exhaustion, especially when you need to get shit done. Getting to brass tacks on this plan, the crater is one side of doing things, right? We have to help the people of Mantle, but simultaneously, we still have to think of the bigger picture. Here's the thing, and I've seen people like debate, oh, Yang is wrong for doing this. Oh, Ruby's wrong for doing this. Real talk, at least for me, they're both right. It's just a matter of what is worth prioritizing more. I guess the best way I can describe this is like for like a MOBA, right? Yang is thinking of the early game advantage where RWBY is thinking of the late game scaling. And I don't think either is wrong. I think Yang just wants to feel, if Yang goes outside and kills some Grim and protects a group of people who were just about to die, that is immediate, tangible results. We just made an impact right here and now, and that's right. Like, that's not wrong for her to say she wants to do, and to be honest, like, that's part of the objective. But RWBY is also in the right for thinking of like, if we don't send help, if we fall here, everyone else is going to be blindsided. So it's still a matter of trying to reach other people. The problem is you really can't expect everyone to agree on one thing. And I know it sucks to try to divide people in this way. I still think it's doable. Team Yang goes and helps the people of Mantle. Team RWBY and company, not that Team RWBY, Team RWBY and Penny go and try to get access to ARMADILLO. And I think Jean was a really good middleman here. The theme of this volume is distrust. Just because you know someone for a really long time, just because you believe in someone, doesn't necessarily mean you have to agree with everything they say or do. And look no further than family. I don't care if you're my sister, someone has to tell you that the plan that you've had so far, that we've let you spearhead since we got here, isn't working out. Objective fact. Like, RWBY, we gave you your moment. Like, you can't be upset that I want to try a different alternative, regardless if you think that we should stick together or whatever the case might be. Like, at least and I'm pretty sure that's hard to hear coming from her sister of all people, you know what I mean? At the same time, I think Yang is the person to tell it, because like, if your sister is telling you that, then you clearly have to take that into consideration, you know? She's not telling you that to hurt your feelings. She's telling you that because that's what she honestly believes. And then that's when everyone else starts voicing their opinions, right? Ren's like, I get it. I fucking get Ren completely in this moment. The last time shit like this happened, his father told him, make sure you act. Sometimes the worst thing you can do is doing nothing at all. And if you're just waiting for endgame, people are dying, whether you're there to protect them or not. At least if you're out there on the front lines, you know at the end of the day, you're making a difference, you're making an impact. It's just hard because both sides are right. It's just, what results are you looking for? Whatever happens, you have to live with that choice you made. That's the first part about being a leader, and that's slowly what I'm learning about Red versus Blue right now. So I'm currently watching Red versus Blue. I finished season 11 and season 12, and like one of the big points that they're mentioning in this season at least is with Tucker. I won't go any further for people who haven't seen it, but Tucker is having a lot of that development going on right now of like making those choices, and you never know if you're making the right choice. And if you made the wrong choice, you just got to learn from it when you got to make another choice down the road. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think either side is wrong. It's just where you fall. And if shit goes crazy, then hopefully they have each other's back. I just don't like how some people are like, Yang was wrong, she broke up the team. That's a weird take for me, at least, because it's like, what she's saying is making sense. It's just, it comes down to your own principles. Like, as a huntsman, she's still a huntress. She still gets to make a choice of what she wants to do, regardless if RWBY is the team leader. It's just a matter of, hey, you gotta live with whatever decisions you come to. It is unfortunate though, because Blake is against Yang's decision and Nora is against Ren's decision. Just look at that too. Just look at the teams. RWBY, Weiss, and Blake are all in agreement with each other. There's 75% a team right now. As of right now, I don't think either side is wrong. They need to do things their own way, and you can't expect the teams to be in complete agreement about every little thing completely, because, you know, none of these characters are blobs. You know, they're not gray blobs. They're red, they're black, they're white, they're yellow. And I do like that Jean is a really good middle person to just be like, okay, we can go for both, but as long as they remain united, they have a shot. I think both sides are worth going for. Unfortunately, you can't have everyone go for one thing and completely negate the other, you know, because if you save Mantle, but you don't send the message, you won the battle, but you lost the war. If you send the message, you just fucking doomed everyone in this place. You lost the battle, but the war is still gonna be fought. You know, that's kind of what you have to think about. So at the end of the day, they're trying to win both. And maybe by the end of it, it'll just prove that you can't win them all. God forbid both sides fail. That's just gonna prove that, like, even if you try, that doesn't guarantee that you'll come out on top. Obviously, Yang got the keys from Pietro. For those who don't know, it was shown in one of the Volume 7 snippets or previews or sneak peeks that they are going to be getting those hover bikes, and that's what the one scene that we saw where Yang is like, all right, the others are definitely missing out. And that was the first shot that we saw of Volume 7. And it seemed to be a little too optimistic. Clearly, it's not all sunshine and rainbows in the kingdom of Atlas. It's understandable why Salem hasn't just completely decimated the kingdom as of yet. And obviously, context matters. So, you know, at least waiting for the episode to play. I don't know if Jean also gets, like, the shield grenades. I don't know if he gets those from Pietro's place, because in Volume 7, Pietro said that he had more modifications to make for them. It was episode 3 that they got their outfits. So he was still working on extra stuff for them. So I wonder if the shield grenades they picked up from there as well. Still at least good to know that Jean and Ren are together. I don't think we're gonna get any type of internal character development or character moments. Yang and Ren are gonna be interacting for the first time. Like, I'm not gonna lie. The one scene in Volume 6 where they first reach Argus and Ren and Yang hug, I'm not saying that they're not friends, but that scene is just very, like, out of place in my mind, because those two characters have never interacted with each other, I don't think, on screen. And so it's just weird for me to just be like, hey, they're super friendly, they're super buddy-buddy. Of course, I expect that, you know, I expect that over the course of the show, but to never see a moment with them is just weird to me sometimes. I'm just like, but we've never seen them, so hopefully, maybe we'll get some moments like that, some downtime. Maybe they'll vent Blake going with Ruby, or Ruby and Yang's disagreements, or Ren and Nora's disagreements. Maybe they'll talk it out while they're going through all of this stuff. I guess if you want to count that, the first time Yang interacts with Ren, she beats the shit out of him during the food fight. You know what would have been great, dude, is if Oscar was with this team instead, and Oscar just takes the phone and he's like, I'm still alive, bitch, and then just hangs up the phone or something. I don't know why, but I feel like there are moments when I see Ironwood, like in Volume 7, like when he has just like this deadpan face, and I feel like that deadpan face is like fear taking over. Almost probably his semblance on autopilot. When he's talking to Oscar, he was like, it's general. Like, you can literally see the light leave his eyes. I'm not saying he has like a split personality. There's the Ironwood that has things under control, and then there's the Ironwood that succumbed by fear. Tin Man Ironwood, I guess if you want to say it. So there's Ironwood, and then there's Tin Man. So like right now he's being a Tin Man. Yeah, I think that's I think we're gonna use that from here on out. Yeah, I think the deadpan is when his metal activates. It could be. It's just, I don't know if he can just activate it on the fly. I don't know if it activates based on whatever he's thinking. It's just weird. I don't know. I guess we can only go off of what he's gunning for in that moment. And if it's irrational, then I guess we're led to assume that it's because of his semblance. It was one thing to be like, okay, we're gonna go and activate ARMADILLO and do all that. But now, if Salem gets through, it's literally all on Ruby, and she's just like, yo, I'll eat that, you know, I'll take that loss. And I don't know if someone like Ruby is ready to accept if thousands of people die, it's because of her poor decision making, and I feel like that's what it's aiming more towards, which is, again, mental break that Ruby is gonna have, realizing that every decision she made has led to the death of thousands of people because she thought what she was doing was right. I think Ironwood is just like, I don't think anything can get through to him. I think if anyone, maybe Winter. And if Winter can't, then he's a lost cause. Oh, Galinda could talk. Yo, this is so fucked up, man. Like, Galinda and Ironwood had such good, like, chemistry. And Glinda hasn't been around in God knows how long. You would have to explain, like, where the hell would Glinda be? Like, why would she come back now of all times? God, Glinda would probably be the one to, oh my God, dude. We need Glinda Goodwitch back. Holy shit. That one conversation they had outside at night that one day where she was like, Ozpin has experience that the rest of us lack. It could be Glinda, but she hasn't been a character in 5 years. So let's not get our hopes up. I didn't think Emerald, Mercury, or Hazel would show up, but they had more of a chance of showing up than Glinda. You guys are right though. I think Glinda can get through to him too, but just so out of place for her to come back after so long. So yeah, Clover is officially dead. Obviously they would have to show that for confirmation so the Aesops can mourn. So unfortunate, man, right? Like, really charismatic dude, just caught up in Tyrion's game. Don't Geist him, don't chill him. And I originally thought that. I was like, I wonder if they would do that, right? Like, use a Geist to reanimate. They also mention a new Grimm in the fairy tale books called a Chill that can also possess bodies. Yeah, I don't think that would be nice, especially since this death had a really big, like, whiplash effect on the community in particular. So I don't think it would be beneficial both for the show's perspective and PR wise. So yeah, I still want a Geist to possess a dead body. I just think there's gonna be a lot of that towards the end of the volume. So let's not count that out too soon. Maybe Adam. God, that'd be so, that would have been, yo, that'd be sick, dude. But no, Adam's gone. Like, there's nothing they can do with him. So yeah, official, confirmed. He's got that little like plate thing on his top, because obviously like Crow's sword like just blew open his chest cavity. So you got Winter. I like her hair. I liked it when her hair was down, and I like it just as well when her hair's in a ponytail. I know it's not super professional, right? It's not in a bun like it usually is, but I don't know. I like casual, her hair tied up in a ponytail. I like her new look in the intro as well. And again, this kind of ties into the Tin Man philosophy, you know, the Tin Man reference, right? But I think Ironwood's arm was like the last semblance of humanity that this man had. Like, he's officially all metal, like all robot. And I think that's what the arm also symbolizes. His actions are not reflective of someone who is very humane or has any shred of humanity left in him. I mentioned on Twitter a few days ago. Shout out to all the Red versus Blue people in the chat. Yo, I fucking love you guys, dude. If you haven't seen RWBY, please watch it. It's so good. But anyways, I made a tweet. This tweet revolved around a particular character in Red versus Blue. I'm not gonna say who it is, but it's a certain man. And there's a very palpable quote that he says that immediately made me think of Ironwood this volume. And the quote is, "It is undeniable, and may I say a fundamental quality of man, that when faced with extinction, every alternative is preferable." Basically what that means is, if you're staring death in the face, if your entire race, your entire species is staring death in the face, it doesn't matter if you shot a kid. It doesn't matter if you shot a council person, because the end result is that you all die anyways. So in my mind, it's not a justification of what Ironwood is doing, but rather it's either you do that to try to make some progress or you all die. I thought that was a very appropriate quote for Ironwood in this situation. Drastically, like, and to be honest, I feel like even some of the actions that both of these characters take, they parallel as well. Like, Ironwood, I feel like, is a good person at heart, and he's got to make those hard decisions, and somebody has to make those hard decisions. He's going to be judged for it, and he's going to be labeled for it. Who else is going to stop Salem now? Who else can stop Salem but Ironwood? You know, hero, that's the whole point of the song. To an extent, like, for Ironwood's character, again, not justifying him killing or shooting anybody. I guess the better question I would say is, when faced with extinction, every alternative is preferable. If it's shooting Councilman Sleet, or if it's shooting Oscar to guarantee a chance that he can do the right thing and at least keep the relics from Salem, what alternative is there? Every alternative is preferable. He's not shooting Councilman Sleet because I'm a big scary bad man and I'm evil now. It's, I need to do this because we have no time, and I can't stop to process talking to people because there's no time for talking either. It's either I do this my way, or the alternative is we die. Peace is built on war, and it's unfortunate, you know? It really is. Like, I don't want to sit, like, Ironwood has become like one of my favorite characters, especially from the last volume, and I don't want to sit here and be like, dude, I love that Ironwood's now suddenly this fucked up guy that will kill anybody at the turn of a hat. Like, holy like, I don't want that. You know, it's just, it's either you do this or you die. And for Ironwood, the ends are justifying the means. If he can get one step closer to stopping Salem, it's an unfortunate circumstance if someone gets in his way. It's just like, that's just how some people function. Again, that specific RWB character, a lot of justification for what they were doing, personal justification, but at the same time, that didn't absolve them. I love Winter's like arm guard. It kind of reminds me of like Mass Effect. I think it's mainly like the white, blue, and red, like the color scheme, like N7, like Shepherd armor. But she looks super cool in the intro as well. She's like geared up. She's got like that arm guard. She's got her ponytail. She just looks like she's not out for the count just yet. And I really, really appreciate the fact that hopefully we'll still see a lot more of her going into this volume. Again, I feel like it's super glossed over. Tyrion literally said, I think it was in volume 5 or volume 6. Actually, yeah, I think it was volume 6. If the general comes to his senses and requests aid from Vacuo, all hope may be lost. The whole point is to cause so much disarray because Salem knows Ironwood. Like, she knows that he's afraid of her, and if she can manipulate that fear to cause him to do things that he normally wouldn't under normal circumstances, that works in their favor for the end game. It's so clear what he needs to do. They need to just get through to him. Obviously, they're banking on him throwing everything at her, including the kitchen sink. That includes his allies. That includes his friends, his family, his co-workers. So Winter mentions like, oh, Crow and Robin. So Crow and Robin are here. We might see them in the next episode. I'm not entirely sure. So I think the only thing that could really help in this situation now is Robin's truth semblance, because that seems to just sift through all the bullshit, and Ironwood knows what her semblance is, right, on the council and all that stuff. So it's just a matter of if he's willing to believe and agree to just hearing them out. If he goes against that, it's literally the fact that he doesn't want to hear the truth. He doesn't want to be proven wrong. He doesn't want to second guess himself. If he decides what he wants to do and he knows everyone has to listen to him, he doesn't have to take in any other considerations. And if his semblance is like tunnel vision, it's not going to allow him to want the truth. You know what I mean? I just don't know how it's going to play out, because Robin is the key. But is it really going to be that easy? And then obviously, even if that does work, it seems like Crow has something out for Ironwood, because he mentioned, you know, James will take the fall. I'll make sure of that. This is an image that precedes unfortunate events, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of crazy that this one image is pretty much the talk of the town for the show right now for the first chapter. Councilman Sleet, Councilwoman Camilla, they want some answers. Obviously, Ironwood is kind of literally off the rails now. Like, without a 5th council person, there's no checks and balances. He holds 2 seats on the council, so these 2 like negate him, and he knows that. So he just decided, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. Now he shot a council person, so literally he has full council control. I was shooketh, absolutely shook by this fucking moment. I cannot believe that shit happened. I can do some like mental gymnastics to understand why he shot Oscar, and also I can do some mental gymnastics in justifying, like, okay, at least he shot a huntsman. It wasn't just some random civilian that can't defend themselves. He literally shot a businessman who most likely has never fought a day in his life, probably doesn't have an aura, like doesn't have his aura unlocked like Jean, right in the head most likely, since it was like a 1-shot, 1-kill. We don't hear him screaming or wailing in pain, so that was just a shoot to kill. I honestly feel like this was ultimately, again, a product of his semblance to a great degree. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. The ends justify the means. If I kill Councilman Sleet and that means Salem can eventually be stopped, he is a necessary sacrifice. Like, he's literally thinking like Salem. Incredibly dangerous. He just told Winter, I don't know where I'd be without you. How do you think someone like that's gonna feel when they see you just kill someone in cold blood, watching you become an actual monster? I feel like this is the slow turning point for Winter to carve her own path, like what Weiss said. She's like, everyone needs to find their own way. It's also interesting because in volume 7 we saw that Penny the robot was more humane and acting more like a human than Winter, who's a human, was acting more emotionless. Another thing that we need to consider is Ironwood's trigger. Ironwood is scared. He is filled with fear at the thought of Salem, at the thought of what she's done to his fleet at the Vital Festival, run-ins that he may have had with her in the past. And like, the first initial trigger was when Oscar basically said, I know that you're scared, we all are. And he's like, that's easy for you to say. You know, basically like, I'm not scared. Don't say that I'm scared. I'm not scared. And then he shot Oscar. If you listen closely in this scene, the last thing that Councilman Sleet said was, "Are you really that scared?" And then he shot him. If you challenge him and question his confidence or say that he's afraid or scared of Salem, that's like a direct challenge at him, and he just loses his shit. He very much has a right to be scared. It's just the fact of like, he doesn't know how to cope with that. I don't know if it's just like a complex where he's like, I am the definition of might and power and authority and force, and I have this army, I have these men and women who will go into battle with me, I have all of these things, I have so much strength, look how strong I am, how could I be afraid of anything? It's almost like everything around him is overly compensating for the fact that regardless of your ships, regardless of your huntsmen and huntresses, they pale in comparison to Salem and what she can do and what she can create. That unknown, that not knowing how to defeat her is something that is very much compacting and compounding onto him. Like, imagine Ironwood being so far gone that he just turns on the very people who are ultimately there for him and there to help him. I wouldn't be surprised if we get like an Ironwood versus Winter. The reaction of his soldiers says a lot about how they feel. Actually, you know what? What did Harriet say to Marrow last volume? Harriet, you're being too excessive. It's not excessive if it's necessary. I wonder where she learned that from. If that's not excessive, just killing someone in cold blood for no goddamn reason could have knocked out Councilman Sleet, could have thrown his ass in the brig along with Councilwoman Camilla, deal with them after this is over. And if everyone dies, then guess what? Everyone dies. But like, how is that not excessive? Is that necessary? She doesn't look very happy with the results. I just feel like Harriet is very stubborn. If she were to second think her decision and second guess the general, she'd be giving Team RWBY the satisfaction. And I'm also worried about Winter. Like I said, I feel like she's gonna have to make some difficult choices of how far she wants to go in following Ironwood before she decides, yo, you probably need to reconsider your approach to certain things, because this is it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad PR. You know what's absolutely like ridiculous about this entire scene? You want to know what's actually ridiculous about this? There's one less person in Atlas who can actually tie their own tie. Councilman Sleet actually could tie a tie, dude. I think of all of the Aesops, I think Marrow is going to be the one that starts having some second thoughts about, you know, because he was very like, he seemed pretty down that they had to fight Team RWBY. He was also questioning, are we really gonna fight Team RWBY? And now seeing what Ironwood is doing, and also just how Faunus in general have been treated in Mantle, I really wouldn't be surprised if Marrow starts having like some second doubts of like, yo, obviously I don't think that's the way to go for him, considering how Ironwood currently is. And if you go against him, you're kind of his enemy. You know, it's either, I think Ironwood's mindset right now is it's either you're with me or you're against me. I do want to see his semblance again, right? Stay. God, it's such a fucking cool semblance, man. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get some more of the Aesops, probably with like with the gloves off this time, because obviously they were trying to restrain themselves when fighting Team RWBY. At least some of them were. So it might be a different story this time around. But yeah, we got a new Grim. A bunch of people on the Crewbie have been hyping this Grim up like it's a Grim that they're really excited for people to see. The ears remind me of like bat ears, kind of, but its body type, if it is the same Grim that I'm thinking of in the trailer, it kind of looks like a gargoyle. It kind of reminds me of like a bat, gargoyle, bloodhound. Like it's sniffing the relic, it's getting the scent of Oscar. You know, he was the last person with the relic, clearly the person that will know how to use it. I don't know if, I'm pretty sure Salem knows that that's Ozpin, or the host of Ozpin. So kill two birds with one stone, get the most important person in the series kidnapped and brought to you. Granted, Oz is back, so maybe Oz can help defend if Oscar gives him control. It's clearly the Grim. He's sniffing out like a bloodhound, sniffing out the scent. He's gonna go after Oscar, bring him back, tell her how to activate the relic. And honestly, as long as they don't do that, they're good. I mean, not realistically, she needs to bring the 4 relics together, but the less access she has to these relics, the better. You know what I mean? So as long as she doesn't know the name of Jin, but then I feel like she would be like, if I kill Oscar, you'll just reincarnate elsewhere, but this boy's blood will be on your hands. So it's almost like a hostage situation. Oscar Protection Squad, I feel bad for you. Y'all are gonna be working overtime this volume. But yeah, this first chapter was great. I really, really enjoyed it. Super excited to just be back and to know that next week and the next week, 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 we just get RWBY for the next couple of months. It's the best way to end 2020, because this year has been absolute shite. And I definitely look forward to just seeing. I'm not looking forward to like the stress and the emotions and I'm just not looking forward to the bad stuff that's gonna happen this volume, to be honest. All I can do is brace for it and hope for the best. But yeah, that's gonna be a great way to start 2021, that's for sure. But ultimately, great chapter overall, really liked it. Just hope all of my thoughts were conveyed, I guess, in the best way from scene to scene, at least, moving forward. And we just have to wait to see what happens next week. So that is the first episode, ladies and gentlemen,